Fans of The Rock aren't thinking about this, and in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what y'all need to be thinking about and why it should be urgently in your minds. Because there's been a lot said about The Rock in recent months. Is he going to work WrestleMania 41? Is he not going to work WrestleMania 41? Would he go up against Cody Rhodes, or would we try to repeat something in which WWE tried to achieve 1 year ago and book The Rock versus our tribal chief, Roman Reigns? A lot of people thought, well, this was going to be the year. This was going to be the year that we would finally get The Rock back for a singles match at WrestleMania, something in which we had not seen technically since 2016 at WrestleMania 32 when he went over Eric Rowan, but realistically, no one counts that as a real match, no real hype, no real build. So you have to go back to WrestleMania 29 where he went over John Cena. And at this point in time, The Rock is not working WrestleMania 41. It was originally believed after plans went really awry at WrestleMania 40, where The Rock came back, he tried to force his way back in, he tried to do the Roman Reigns match, he turned heel, he trained with Roman, he went on to face our undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes, and then world champion Seth Rollins, and the heels went over, but in the end, it was Cody Rhodes who walked away with the undisputed WWE championship, right? We all have heard the song and dance. Heck, they made a documentary out of it. So, on Monday Night Raw, they shoot an angle where Cody Rhodes, The Rock, they heavily imply that they're going to run this match and they're going to do it at WrestleMania 41. The belief has been throughout 2024 that this match was going to happen. And then in late 2024, there was multiple reports talking about how if The Rock feels like he can do a match, if The Rock feels like he can get into ring shape, if The Rock has enough time, he'll do a match at WrestleMania 41 against Cody Rhodes. And now WWE is going with the belief that Rock versus Cody Rhodes will not happen at WrestleMania 41. Rock versus Roman Reigns will not happen because The Rock simply is not wrestling. They're going on different path creatively. Okay? And the song and dance has always been, if The Rock can get in ring shape, if he has enough time, he'll do a match. And it got me thinking, what if The Rock never wrestles again? Well, what if WrestleMania 41 in Philadelphia, teaming with our tribal chief Roman Reigns, turning heel, being the final boss, in my opinion, as a longtime Rock fan, his greatest gimmick, his greatest persona, his greatest character. What if WrestleMania 40 was his last match? What if that was the last time that we ever saw The Rock walk down that aisle in the Brahma Bull trunks with those weird boots, taking his elbow pad off, throwing it into the crowd after hitting that spine buster, hitting the people's elbow, hitting the rock bottom, get that 1, 2, 3. What if The Rock went out in that tag team match at WrestleMania 40? What if he went out in that match? What if we never get to see another Rock match? He's in his, a different chapter in his life. He's much older. He's in his 50s. Time is not on his side. He went multiple years without wrestling a match. He actually went over a decade without wrestling a full-time match. I think it's time that we all admit, I think it's time, as a fellow Rock fan, that we have seen The Rock's last match. Now, I could be wrong. Heck, he could work a match at WrestleMania 41. But we saw on the Raw on Netflix premiere episode, The Rock came out, he did a promo, he was dressed as the final boss, he had the People's Championship, he had the entrance, he had the theme song of the final boss. It was final boss, final boss, final boss. Everybody was tuned into that opening segment. Not just because it was the Netflix premiere, but also because what is The Rock going to say? Is he going to set up a match with Cody Rhodes? Is he going to set up a match with The Rock? What is he going to say? And he was Dwayne Johnson. He was the member of the board of WWE, right? He wasn't the final boss. He hugged out with Cody Rhodes. The same guy in which The Rock beat down in the parking lot. The same guy that talked trash about Cody Rhodes in an Instagram Live just months prior when he made a surprise appearance at Bad Blood. I think we've seen the last of The Rock. He has so much on his plate, from his acting career to his business ventures to now his new role in WWE to his commitment to pro football. There's a lot on this guy's plate. He's a family man. He's an influencer. And oh, by the way, he's much older. This is a young man's game. This is something in which his arch rival, John Cena, has talked about in the past. That's one of the reasons why John Cena is retiring from WWE in 2025 once his retirement tour wraps up. It's a young man's game. This is pro wrestling. You got to be sharp. You got to be quick. You got to be on your feet. You got to be able to roll with the punches. It's all in or all out. I think we've seen that The Rock, he can still do it at a high level promo-wise. Heck, the tag team match was not that bad. It was plotting, but it wasn't that bad. But as a Rock fan, a guy that has bought a ton of his action figures, a guy that still has an elbow pad of The Rock's from like 1999, I think we can safe to say that we've probably seen his last match. And that's okay, right? Because you always take the chance of, and I don't think a lot of people discuss this enough, especially fans, right? Where it's like, okay, you want a guy to come back. You want a gal to come back. You want to see him work one more match. Well, what if they stink up the joint? Like, what if it's an awful match? Right? That was Steve Austin's concerns many, many years ago. You look at Shawn Michaels, right? He retired fresh off a great WrestleMania 26 match with The Undertaker in 2010. He returns, 8 years later? He works a horrific tag team match in Saudi Arabia. Kane's mask falls off. Triple H tears his pec. And Kane loses his mask. Shawn Michaels is bald. Shawn can still go, but it's a horrific match. Nobody remembers Shawn Michaels' performance. So that's a risk that The Rock takes. Like, he could come back for another match. He could come back for a singles match. He could come back for the Roman Reigns match. But he could also stink up the joint. It's just a reality of the situation. Now, here's the question that you need to ask yourself. It's a question I've asked myself. If I'm booking, if I have the option, if I could book The Rock's one more match featuring The Rock, if I could book The Rock's last match, his retirement match, would I do it against Cody Rhodes or would I do it against Roman Reigns? I think as much as the Cody Rhodes match is intriguing, we've seen them mix it up once. We've never seen Roman Reigns versus The Rock. So if he is going to come back, if he's going to do one more match, I would book him against Roman Reigns or Tribal Chief. That's the match that the fans have wanted to see for over a decade. That is the match that WWE has tried to book for a decade. That is the match you book if you have the option. If the cards are on the table and all you got to do is make a decision, it's Rock versus Roman Reigns. And you make that decision every single time, every day of the week, and as Steve Austin used to say, twice on Sunday.